Welcome back to joining us on Street Smart. Here the top company news this morning. Crompton Greaves along with its partners Fabricom and Imantis banks a €150 million wind project in the Netherlands. The contract requires Crompton to design, deliver and install equipment for the project. The company shares recover over 30% of overall contract. PTI reports that Reliance Industries is set to get an additional penalty of $578 million from the government for producing less than targeted natural gas from the KG-D6 block. This brings the total cost disallowed to $2.3 billion. And L&T Infrastructure plans to raise up to 1,000 crore rupees via debentures in FY15. This is broken up into 600 crores of secured, redeemable, non-convertible debentures with an option to retain subscription of up to 400 crore rupees. It's back to you guys.
All right, so thanks for getting us those updates as far as the corporate news are concerned and what we're tracking. Just a quick mention on the pre-open and the way it's playing out right now. As far as the kind of cues that the pre-open is throwing up in terms of the indicative quotes, markets could start off the day a little bit on the softer side, 0.2% cut on the Sensex and on the Nifty is what we're seeing right now. In fact, Sensex down by nearly 0.4%, and there's no the clear drag on the index today are the oil and gas stocks. You've got Reliance, ONGC, all taking huge knocks on the back of the development that we picked up yesterday itself. Alright, so let's discuss this and the market cues more with Dhananjay Sinha from Emkay Global Financial Services. Dhananjay, thanks for taking the time out today to talk to us. Let's start off by really getting your thoughts, because you just come back from an entire roadshow and you wrote a report as well on what the mood looks like among the FI. So what are they telling you on that roadshow and what's it looking like in terms of the outlook for the markets?
So effectively, so we did a roadshow on the banking sector, and the message that our people have got is that, you know, the FIIs are still fairly hopeful on the reform side, and they believe that there is a liquidity which is awash, and that will be sufficient to actually support the markets. I think that's what the FI is actually looking at. They believe that while the banking sector is likely to undergo a certain natural deleveraging because of lower money supply growth, they believe that element in the banking sector with respect to NPAs and the recapitalization can be funded if the government opens up with respect to reducing its stake holding in these companies. We are of the view that the recapitalization requirement is to the tune of something like $30 billion for the PSU banks, and some of the FIs were saying that that's not a very large sum in the global context where the liquidity is very high. So I think that's what the FIs have been saying. But I think they have also been saying that the cautious part that they were talking about is with respect to reform. So the realization of the expectation of large amount of reforms that people are hopeful of, and that will be very critical in terms of the sentiment. So if there are any letdowns on that count, I think they're saying that they can be a little cautious on the prospects of Indian markets. The other thing that they are saying is that the budget will need to be less expansive. So if it is a tighter budget, they would actually be happier, because that will imply a lower inflation trajectory going forward. On the contrary, if the budget is expansionary and it's expense heavy, then there will be somewhat.
Dhananjay, I just need to address the market opening. I'm going to come back to you and finish our point as well in terms of the mood for the markets, but today's opening itself is going to be pretty critical for the oil and gas packs. Remember, you're seeing a little bit of a cut when we talk about ONGC, RIL, all those counters. So let's start off with ONGC first in terms of the kind of opening that we're actually picking up as far as the counter is concerned. Alright, we just try and refresh that quote for you as well. As far as ONGC is concerned, I'll just try and get the revised quote there. Let's also pull up some, that's ONGC that's trading a little bit lower. Let's get the index up for you as well, and what we're picking up right now. As far as the index is concerned, let's just try and get that 65, 66 points lower is what we're seeing in terms of the Sensex itself. And talk about stocks, there you go, ONGC is down 6% on opening is what we're making of that counter. Huge cuts there, RIL down almost 3%. These two clearly being the big laggards on the index. ITC and GAIL are some of the other counters that are also in negative territory. Beyond that, auto counters continue to see that little bit of momentum. Bajaj Auto up 1. You've got Tata Motors holding on to some gains. Hero Motor also showing a little bit of a positive move, up 1%. M&M up 1.5%. So that's where the support is. L&T also has been holding on, though Maruti has actually been seeing a little bit of a cut, 1% down on that counter. What else is moving in trade? BHEL is in positive, Bajaj Auto there, Bharti is holding on, Tata Power is showing a little bit of a gain, 0.4% move. NTPC up nearly 0.1% as well. It's only RIL and ONGC that have been the big movers, and that too on the downside on the back of that gas price being deferred itself. Let's get the Nifty up. Quick mention on that as well. Nifty is down 13 to 14 points, 33 stocks gaining, 34 rather, 14 to 15 stocks gaining, remaining seeing a little bit of a flat trade right now. Let's get the names up. Bajaj Autos up 1, Tata Steel, SBI, L&T and Chester Sterlite are some of the stocks that are just showing a little bit of a marginal, a little bit of gains right now. But take a look at the entire oil and gas pack. That's where the story is. ONGC 6, BPCL 3.5, RIL 2.7, GAIL and Kin India all seeing massive cuts. The entire oil and gas pack, which has been playing this entire reform expectation, is seeing a huge cut right now in terms of trade. 14 points down now on the index, but remember it's being contained because you got support from the auto and the banking stocks today. But remember, it's also expiry day, so let's see how the benchmark indices play out.
Let's take a look at the mid caps as well and how they're doing. They're actually quiet in trade today. Let's take a look at some of the movers though. We've got some of the mid-cap media stocks moving. Procter & Gamble's up 3.5%. Monsanto, we've got Abbott. Crompton Greaves, of course, in the news this morning. Honeywell, Russia Chemicals is back on the up move, so that's seeing some gains. Prestigious States Shipping Corporation, HMT is also up about 1.5%. Ashok Leyland continues to see activity in today's trade as well. PVR is on the higher side. We've got some of the mid-cap cement counters. Trent and IRB, which has of course been seeing strong volume trade. Cox and Kings, Union Bank of India, again strong volumes on the derivative front. Rockhard, KPIT, UPL, some of the other names there on the upside. On the downside, let's take a look at some of the names not participating. We've got a HPCL that's down in trade following the trend in the oil and gas pack, as is an MRPL or a Petronet. So all of those stocks, and Gujarat Gas, SR Oil, clear theme emerging there on the downside. So oil and gas is a clear dragger in trade today. Add an Intrabasta gas to that list as well, and that's really where you've got the pressure coming in from this morning. Dhananjay, oil and gas is clearly going to be one of the sectors in focus today. We've got the deferral on the gas price hike issue, and all of these stocks apart, ONGC of course is taking the maximum brunt in terms of what we're seeing today in stock price performance. Just your take on the implications here.
Yeah, as I said, the markets and some of these stocks had run up primarily on the back of the fact that there were a lot of reform expectation from the government, and in the current context, any news which actually disappoints on that front would be looked at negatively. But the way I look at it is that from a macro standpoint, the government will have to do a large amount of disinvestments, and I hear that they are targeting fairly large, something like 80,000 crores from disinvestment. So I think some of these oil companies will be at the front end in terms of disinvestment candidates. So I think it will be pertinent to assume that the government will eventually go ahead and do the required measures, which is basically that we are expecting that eventually after 3 months the government will actually go ahead and increase the price of gas. And I think they are looking at the nitty-gritties. Maybe there might be certain modification, etc. So I think that is one thing, and possibly they will also have to really look at the LPG and kerosene part of it as well. So eventually they will do it. At this juncture, I think there is a certain concern with respect to inflationary trends, and the food inflation seem to have been going up, and there is a certain negative reaction to the freight hike. So I think that might have been a concern also for the government to actually defer some of these decisions. But I am fairly hopeful that given the context that the government will have to rely a lot on disinvestment, that they will have to go ahead with some of these measures in the oil sector. So eventually the in a nutshell, what we are saying is that there is a possibility of 7 to 10% correction in stocks like ONGC, marginally lesser with respect to Reliance. But these will be opportunities to actually pick up if I am looking at 3 months down the line. So I think that's how I look at it.
Since we're talking about the expectations out here, Dhananjay, the clear big event in front of us here is the budget. Any expectations? Because in the note also you do write that the fact that an expenditure heavy budget could actually still be a disaster even if the fiscal deficit is actually shown lower. So your expectations just broadly on the budget this time?
Right. So I think a lot of things have actually been out. So for instance, for the auto sector, the government has already decided that the excise duty cut that were announced by the previous government will be continued. So I think that is out. The fact that there will be no hike in gas price is also out of the budget. Also with respect to LPG and kerosene, I think we'll have to see what they will do over there. So I think, and with respect to the railway budget also, the government has announced the freight hike, etc., and there is a partial rollback. But I think broadly some of these announcements are already out. I think what will be relevant from the budget is basically to look at what they do with respect to GST, how quickly and if they can actually implement that. We are aware that the earlier government had also promised initiation of the GST, and it has been lingering on for a long time. So we'll have to see whether there is more substantive moves that the current government can actually do to implement the GST. So I think GST can be a very critical thing. Apart from that, I don't believe that there is a lot of scope for the government to actually cut taxes, both on the indirect and direct taxes, especially the direct taxes, because the tax revenues have been fairly feeble. So last year the tax collection on a net basis for the government of India was 10% plus, and on a gross basis, including the aggregate, the development that goes to the state government, was about 9.8%. That compares with a GDP growth of about 11.5%. So the elasticity has actually fallen to 0.8. So in that context, the ability of the government to actually provide tax benefits in a big way is fairly limited, according to me. And hence, what will be relevant is what is the expenditure growth. According to me, the base case that we are expecting is a 10% revenue expenditure growth, which forms about 87% of the total expenditure. So that is what we are expecting. A lower growth would be welcome. So if it is somewhere around 5 or 6%, it will be ideal, according to me. It will give a stronger sense with respect to fiscal consolidation. I think what will be also relevant is that what is the amount the government actually puts out for disinvestment, dividend payouts, and spectrum sale. All these things are very important.
Okay.
And as I've said earlier, the reliance on disinvestment is going to be fairly large.
Fair enough.
Also the dividend payout. So I think we'll have to look at those numbers. And my expectation is that that the disinvestment target should be in excess of 60,000 crores.
All right, fair. So that's as far as the broader expectations are concerned. I want to get one more quick thought in terms of a certain sector, Dhananjay, that's in focus today, is the auto pack. Good gains coming in once again, and as you mentioned in your answer there itself, you got those excise duty cut extension coming in for another 6 months. Take a look at Bajaj Auto, M&M's been holding on. Are these stocks on your radar? Any top picks, Dhananjay, from the auto pack?
So basically, in order of preference, we have liked Maruti, we liked Hero Motors and Tata Motors.
Okay.
I think that is going to be the case. Maybe Bajaj will also benefit from the excise duty cut extension, but I think our preferences are as I said earlier. So that's what we think on the auto space.
Yes. All right, Dhananjay, we'll leave it there. Thanks so much for joining us and giving us some of your views. Let's just quickly run you through markets and how they're doing right now. We're off to, again, a pretty flat start. Of course, the pressure primarily coming in on the oil and gas pack. And it's ONGC that's taking the brunt of that gas price hike deferral. As Dhananjay also said, remember, these stocks have also run up in anticipation. So that's why, of course, that fall in ONGC is then in context. Reliance, BPCL, GAIL, all of the others following suit. However, auto, of course, managing to hold up the market somewhat. We've got a Bajaj that's up 1.5% on the excise cut extension. We've got a Hero also in the green this morning. And some of the banking stocks are also seeing a good up move as well. So we'll have to wait and see. Remember, it is expiry session, so anything could really happen, particularly in the last hour of trade. That's all we have time for in this edition of Street Smart.
Well, that's what Harsha is also joining in right now. So what have we got lined up on Indus today?
The big one, guys, is about the excise duty extension for the automobile industry. What does this mean? What are the implications on those stocks? Back in business in 2 minutes.
Presented by BSE Investors Protection Fund.